Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Dr. Matt again with ZPT, and welcome back to another daily performance enhancement video. Today's topic is all about isometrics. Now, if you're not familiar with isometrics, not already utilizing them in your training routine, then you're definitely missing out, not only from an injury prevention standpoint, but also from an optimal human movement, improved athleticism, improved performance standpoint as well. So we're going to take a step back and we're going to talk about what the three different muscle contractions that our body can produce are. We got a concentric, an eccentric, and an isometric. I'm going to use the squat as a great example to explain these. So a concentric muscle contraction is if we were sitting in the bottom position of the squat with a barbell on our back and we stood that barbell up to the standing position, we're producing force, our hips, our knees are extending, and we're ending in that standing position. That is a concentric muscle contraction. Eccentric, on the other hand, is we're taking that barbell from a standing position and we're lowering it back down to the squat. So our muscles are lengthening under load and we're controlling that load back down to the bottom position. That's an eccentric muscle contraction. Now, an isometric is completely different. There's actually no movement occurring whatsoever. So our muscles are working really, really hard. We're producing a lot of force, a lot of torque, but we're not going anywhere. Okay, so think about sitting in that bottom position for extended periods of time, whatever time that domain that might be. Now, this is important from an injury prevention standpoint because when we see a lot of injuries occur, it's usually at the end range of motion where we're not comfortable or our tissues are not resilient enough to handle that end range. So a great example would be with all the pec tears at this past regionals event for CrossFit. Now, I'm not saying it was due to a programming error or too much volume or whatnot. I just think we simply could not control our movement patterns at our end ranges. Plain and simple. Okay, so we're doing, I know these guys have practiced ring disc before, but they're kipping, they're moving in and out of that range super fast, super quick, going from a loaded, unloaded position for that pec, and under stress and fatigue and load, we start to fall back into faulty movement patterns. So a lot of times the shoulder will roll forward, the pec will shorten, and then you try to bounce out of it and produce force, and that's when our tears are occurring. So this is why it's vitally important to work end ranges for isometric holds under a good position. So the way I like to incorporate this is we start to build it in at each and every week for various movements. So there's an old saying that if you can breathe in a position, you own that position, right? So example of the ring dip. We pull our body down to the bottom position, good movement patterns, and we take 3 to 5 full deep breaths in and out as we're holding that pattern. This will help develop the resiliency of the muscle tissue in its most lengthened state under load, which will help prevent injury in the future. From a performance standpoint, if we create more tension under load and we're better able to withstand that force, we now have more contractile ability to explode out of that to produce more power and force. So I want you guys to go take this information, take this knowledge, and play around with it, and I know you're going to increase your performance. See you next time.